Small Talk with Sophie Bennett
and Sean Bell.
Small Talk.
Good morning and welcome to Small Talk. It's Sophie and I together again.
What a special occasion it is. Is my microphone working? Testing, 1, 2, 3. Am I coming through?
No.
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 Yeah, hold on.
That's
there
better.
We go. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Welcome to that welcoming silence. Sophie and I are back together again. Hello.
Oh, should we do that again then? Hello. Yes, it's a special occasion again, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Yeah, on this beautiful spring day as well.
Yeah, spring has sprung.
Spring has sprung and the birds are singing and the sun is shining and there's energy in the air.
And today, two things. We're talking about pronunciation.
Yes.
Which is something that my students always struggle with. But there's been a couple of interesting articles out this week in social media. Native speakers struggle with pronunciation as well.
Now that's incredible, isn't it? Now who would have thought that? I wonder if the Italians have the same problem. British people have problems with pronunciation. Do Italians have difficulty in pronouncing things? Probably less so, because Italian is written as you pronounce it as you write it, don't you? Whereas in England you've got that difficulty, the relationship between the written, the spelling and the pronunciation.
The interesting thing about English spelling, though, is it gives you a history of where the word has come from.
Yeah, lots of French words, lots of Latin-based words as well. I think that causes a lot of difficulty with the French-based words, with lots of pronunciation. I've got my own personal problems with that as well from when I was a child.
Yeah.
I used to say sachet.
Sachet?
What's a sachet? What's a sachet?
Sachet.
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 Yeah, sachet. Because as a child, you read it as it's spelled, and it's sachet.
Yeah, the big we do terrible things to French and Italian words in English.
I remember that left a little bit of a scar in me. I was quite emotionally traumatized by that, because everybody laughed at me when I said sachet. And another one I said, another clanger, as we say, a big mistake, un errore grande quando fai un errore grande, un clanger, che dicevo l'apple.
Lapel.
My lapel. Do you know what my lapel is?
Apple.
No, it's a lapel.
Lapel. Well, this is a problem with English the word stress. Okay, where does the stress fall? On what syllable does the stress fall?
You just give it a go, don't you? When you're little, anyway. You just go. Si fa una prova quando sei piccola. Uno lo leggi le cose e poi non sai come pronunciarlo. Allora, via. Ci provi, no?
Brava.
Yes.
Tentare non nuoce.
That's right.
So we want to hear from you. What are your problems with pronunciation?
Tanti.
Okay. So write to us on our Facebook page, okay, Radio Stella Città. We want to talk about pronunciation in general. Are there words in Italian which you find difficult to pronounce, even though you speak Italian? And what are the main problems in English? We've had some responses already from native speakers and non-native speakers on Facebook. So we're going to start a debate on social media today. What are your problems with pronunciation? What are your gaffes? What are your clangers, as Sophie said before?
Well, I've made my confession.
Yeah.
I have confessed. So if you would like to confess and be absolved, do call us.
Exactly.
That's your chance.
True
of confession.
confessions. Pronunciation confessions today.
Sì, chi vuole confessare, noi siamo qui per assolvervi, solo comunque confessare sulle cose di pronuncia, perché per le altre cose non vogliamo proprio sapere. Don't tell us. We don't want to know. We don't want to know.
No. Also today we are celebrating the music of Nico Case.
Great. I'm dying to know who and what and where and what.
Nico Case is a American singer-songwriter. She's born in Virginia, but she was for a long time part of the music scene in Seattle and Vancouver. And I wish I was in New Zealand at the moment, because she performed at the Wellington Festival this week, and she performed on Friday night. It's Friday night there. It's gone now. She was performing tonight in Auckland before going back to the States and doing a tour there. But she is quite an incredible singer-songwriter, and in the kind of alternative country vein.
Okay, and are we
Yeah.
going to listen to her now?
Yeah, have we got time for
No,
it?
we have time for commercial and then.
Okay, we're going now into commercial, and when we come back, we'll listen to some Nico Case.
Pubblicità.
Radio Stella Città.
Rimanete con noi. Stay with us.
Restez avec nous.
Radio Stella Città.
Ore 14 lezioni di inglese, poi una bella nuotata in piscina, alle 16 appuntamento dal parrucchiere, ore 18 alle terme con massaggio rilassante, prima di una cena romantica al ristorante, poi un bel film al cinema o in Blu-ray.
Ma dai, non è possibile!
Certo che è possibile, compro tutto su Civ on Sale.
Spendi poco e goditi la vita con i coupon di Civ on Sale. www.civonsale.it.
Compagnia Portuale Civitavecchia, 115 anni di lavoro autogestito. Compagnia Portuale Civitavecchia, modello di organizzazione al servizio delle imprese. Compagnia Portuale Civitavecchia, una storia di impegno per il porto, la città, le famiglie civitavecchiesi. La Compagnia Portuale Civitavecchia risponde al numero 0766 23030.
Stella Città
101,2.
Turn up the music. Baby, come out and meet you in the street. At the place by the old fire station, we'll get something to eat like we talked about. Baby, come down, it's been a while now. I got so many things I could tell you if my stubborn mouth doesn't let me down. And I can't look at you straight on. You're made from something different than I know. Try to slip the marching clock, but centipedes invade my thoughts. Without free will, I heal and I go. Step onto that metal plate where it meets the dazzling sound of trains, and I beg those trains to run, 'cause I can't look at you straight on. You're made from something different than I know. My eyes are on the sidewalk, it's gun holding your feet. I swear under my breath because I'm starving in your gravity. You're made from something different than I know. Linger just a little long. I see your gun is drawn. With the safety on, you can walk me back to my hotel like it was home. And smell those fools you made cordwood of in petty dreams that leave me sleeping here in your arms. City swan, our crookedness long. City swan. I can't look at you straight on. Made from something different than I know. And it breaks my heart just like the day that I
Nico Case there with the song City Swans from the album from last year. The worse things get, the harder I fight. The harder I fight, the more I love you.
Oh, that's nice, isn't it? Anyway, a feel-good song that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect for today's sunny day.
Now, I've got a question for you, Sylvia. We were talking the other week about folk music. And this kind of music, this sort of alternative country, is it popular here in Italy?
No, so much. Depends. No. Depends which are your music interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
depends, but it's not so popular. It's not commercial music.
Well, exactly. It's very much a sort of, it would be categorized as independent music.
Yeah.
Nico Case sort of, you can hear a sort of a very sort of country influence, but, she grew up in punk bands, and so there's that sort of mix as well.
Yeah. No,
We'll be listening to more from...
Beautiful.
We're talking about pronunciation today. Tell us your pronunciation gaffes. Write to us on our Radio Stella Città Facebook page. We've had some responses already. Andra in Newcastle-under-Lyme in England was saying about the thing I find interesting is the different pronunciations of things in New Zealand and the UK, pronunciation being one. And she said scone or scone is the big thing in her house.
Ok, I can answer this question. Faccio una piccola introduzione per quelli che stanno ascoltando. Stiamo parlando dei gaff nella pronuncia sia in italiano sia in inglese, anche i native speakers, anche quelli che i madrelingue. So, we've had Andrea che è nuova zelandese, Andrea?
Andra.
Alexandra.
She said another problem is her name as well.
Right.
Because they say Andra in New Zealand and Andra in the
Andra,
UK.
yeah, Andra. Anyway, Andra talking about scone and scone. Allora, prima forse dobbiamo dare qualche informazione.
What
che
is
cos'è?
What is a scone?
What is a scone or what's a scone? I say scone. What do you
I say scone as well.
I say scone.
I always grew up saying scones.
Yeah, maybe your family came from the north, didn't they, of England originally? Your
Well,
father,
my dad's Belfast.
Your dad's Belfast, and wasn't somebody from Yorkshire in your family?
My aunt married a Yorkshireman.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a pretty tenuous connection then. I grew up in Yorkshire. I'm proud to say. I'm a Yorkshire lass.
Yeah.
I've come from the north of England. And
Cominciano ad arrivare, eh?
Sì?
Vado?
Ok, aspetta un attimo, no, perché deve dire...
Explain what a scone is.
Scone è un non è neanche dolce, non è molto dolce, è una...
Well,
una,
it can be sweet or it can be savory.
Yeah, è un tipo di torta, no. Come si può dire? Panino? No. Come si fatto con la farina, fatto con il burro, fatto con zucchero, abbastanza semplice, and on top you put jam and cream. Si mette la
Tipo pan di Spagna.
alla panna sopra. Non è, it's not a sponge, no. È sostanzioso.
Un tipo di pane.
Yeah,
ma con questa consistenza diversa un po'...
solid.
Non è...
It's a classic ingredient of the English cream tea. If you go and order cream tea, traditional cream tea in England, you'll get tea, maybe some sandwiches, and these scones with jam and cream. And scones, in fact, my next door neighbour, la mia vicina di casa, aveva una ricetta che si chiama Sophie's Scones, named after me.
Really?
For you. Really beautiful.
I like them so much. Those are the days, eh? So I'm a sconer. I say scone. Some people in the south say scone.
Scone, yeah.
Yeah, if you come from the south.
Yeah.
Lovely scone.
So what are the listeners saying, Sylvia?
Corinne dice che a volte fa una pronuncia dilungata, mette delle H
Very good.
dove non ci sono, tipo hall, sembra che dico hall, a seconda di come pronunci certe parole. Dice una cosa invece di un'altra, tipo invece di dire shep, dice sheep, ok? E poi non ha finito e dice devo fare un po' più di esercitazione, dice perché ho anche problemi nella comprensione per le differenti pronunce.
Well, that raises two really interesting issues: the problem with vowel sounds,
yes,
and the problem with the H, whether you pronounce the H or not. So also these silent letters.
That's right. Sometimes, sometimes the H is silent. Most of the time it isn't. But there is often the tendency in Italian students to say it when they're between two vowels. Yeah, there's a tendency quando si respira di mettere un H prima del vocale. Probably the problem with the breathing.
Whereas what happens in English is we have these intrusive sounds. So instead of saying into him, we would put a W. So we'd say into him.
Yeah. which is when you're dropping off the H, or maybe
well, it's really we're putting a W before the H.
into
so it
the
becomes
auditorium.
Wim.
There's a good example.
Into the auditorium.
Into the auditorium instead of the auditorium.
No.
The auditorium. Yeah.
The auditorium. Into the auditorium.
Into the auditorium.
Yeah, there's the y sound and the w sound.
Yeah.
Come in between words a lot.
Curiouser and curiouser. Scones and scones. So
Scones
there
and
are
scones.
there are other food words. Now this is unbelievable. Listen for the incredibile questa notizia che mi ha detto mio fratello. My brother told me when I went to England a few weeks ago that evidently some English people who consider themselves to be posh are saying Parmesan.
Parmesan.
What's Parmesan? Parmesan.
Parmigiano.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Oh, you can't translate to Parmesan.
Hands off our Parmigiano. Yeah, because the terrible thing is they're Frenchifying it. They're Frenchifying the Parmigiano, which is Italian.
Is it as bad as espresso?
Right.
No, Express. I go out.
That's a magazine, isn't it?
Espresso. I used to work with a guy who said, "Oh, I've just been out for a croissant and an espresso."
Wow, terrible.
I was reading there was an article online that was saying that evidently in England there's such a fear of mispronouncing foreign words and foreign food on menus that sometimes actually people avoid ordering the foreign dishes because of they're embarrassed that they're going to make a fool of themselves. Faccio una piccola traduzione. Ci sono persone in Inghilterra che hanno così tanto paura di fare brutta figura quando fanno la cattiva pronuncia dei cibi stranieri come parmigiano o come per esempio prosciutto o dauphinoise ciabatta, that they just don't order it. Evitano proprio ordinare quelle cose.
Ciabatta is a Scottish friend of mine that said, "I'll have some of that ciabatta."
Ciabatta, yeah. Well, we've got to try, haven't you? So there we go. So they're sticking to the fish and chips over there.
Stick to fish and chips and you'll be fine.
Fish and chips and a cup of tea.
But then, you come. There's the, people that are having problem with accents. I always give them this example of fish and chips. In New Zealand, they would say fish and chips with a sound, and in Australia, they say fish and chips.
It's just not the same. No, è un piatto completamente diverso.
But but this is the problem with pronunciation. There is what pronunciation do you choose?
Variations. Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, originally, actually, if you look at the TV and the films in Britain up until the 1950s, everybody spoke in an awfully super duper accent, BBC accent.
If you wanted to get a job on the BBC, you had to use received pronunciation.
And everybody talked like this, and everybody talked extremely quickly as well. I have a friend who watches films on YouTube to practice his English, which is a very good idea. And he said he can understand the films until about 1955, and then they get more difficult.
But of course, the thing now is that people have adopted this, what they call Eastery English, the sort of the accent of Greater London, of sort of Essex, and which is sort of more like, there's like glottal stops.
That's right, because it's cool and trendy.
It's cool and trendy, and this became a big thing in the 90s, and even Tony Blair, Cambridge-educated Tony Blair, adopted an Eastery accent when giving public when on the campaign trail, when appearing on TV,
marketing
sound like one of the people, and you notice this change. So still in the 80s, you had most of the people like Angela Rippon, who you needed to have this received pronunciation if you wanted to work in media, and then in the 90s it all changed,
and it was the opposite. Yeah.
To they allowed sort of regional accents, but they also wanted what you got was these very posh people sort of imitating these Eastery accents.
Yeah. No, stiamo parlando velocemente un piccolo riassunto. Stiamo parlando del fatto in Inghilterra per andare in televisione spesso era voluto l'accento received pronunciation tipico del BBC. Poi è cambiato negli anni 90, diventa più di moda di avere un accento un po' più londonese, era più cool, più trendy. Infatti io mi ricordo quando io abitavo a Bath, che è nel sud-west, quando avevo gli amici che andavano a Londra per vivere, tornavano dopo un paio di mesi e avevano l'accento londinese già, perché they were like from the big city.
But what accent in
Talk
London
like-
because
talk like that.
there's 4 or 5 different accents in London. Okay, we're talking pronunciation here on Small Talk. We're going now into the news, and then we'll be back with more music from Nico Case and more debate about pronunciation. Pronunciation or pronunciation?
Pronunciation.
Radio Stella, Città News.
Bentrovati all'appuntamento con l'informazione di Radio Stella Città, in studio Silvia Tamagnini. Ore decisive per le sorti di HCS. Se dal tavolo tecnico di oggi in regione non usciranno soluzioni concrete, i liquidatori sono pronti a mettere in atto già da lunedì una serie di provvedimenti drastici per tentare il salvataggio della società. È indispensabile assumere immediatamente delle iniziative, per quanto dolorose, hanno spiegato. In caso contrario non saremo purtroppo in grado di garantire il pagamento degli stipendi già da questo mese. Intanto un atto di indirizzo del commissario impone un ulteriore risparmio del 15%. Temono di rimanere isolati gli operatori del mercato San Lorenzo all'indomani della diffida inviata dal comune che impone lo sgombero dei box provvisori di piazza 24 maggio entro il 27 marzo prossimo, con il trasferimento nei nuovi locali di piazza Regina Margherita. Intanto il Pincio accelera su ortofrutta e superfetazioni. Riscontro delle impronte digitali a livello internazionale alla strada investigativa che sta intraprendendo la polizia di frontiera per cercare di dare un'identità al giovane di colore che aveva 1 chilo di cocaina nell'apparato digerente e che è morto sulla motonave Cruise Roma partita da Barcellona e attraccata lo scorso 4 marzo al porto di Civitavecchia. Anche Giancarlo Frascarelli lancia un ultimatum in vista delle prossime elezioni amministrative. Se entro martedì non viene scelto un candidato a sindaco unico per il centrodestra, scendo in campo. Il presidente dell'associazione al servizio del cittadino annuncia di avere già pronti i simboli delle liste che sosterrebbero la sua candidatura. Storie di briganti e brigantesse nel meridione. Questa sera alle ore 21 al Teatro Buonarroti l'associazione culturale La CAF presenta un'altra unità, li chiamarono briganti. Spettacolo teatrale liberamente tratto dal libro di Vincenzo Labanca, a memoria di una brigantessa, e dal film di Pasquale Squitieri, Li chiamarono briganti, censurato nel 1999. Ma questa era l'ultima informazione, l'appuntamento è a risentirci per la prossima edizione.
Avete ascoltato Radio Stella, Città News.
Last night late, I was watching it snow. It always goes sideways in the city. Right out from the streetlights, you know. Pumped out by an engine deep inside the earth's core. It goes sideways in the city. Cover the shades and erase the day. This could be any evening in any place. The blizzard blows from left to right, which is funny cause the piano's playing Summertime. From 1935 to sounds the alarm of ragtime. It's ragtime keeping time. To the waves of its residue, its laughter from a marbled room, white crowned sounds of possible, sound that lures me. It says, don't you hurry, don't you worry, kid, we'll be seeing you, see you when you're ready. gravity is soothing, winds me in a sleek cocoon. Feel myself when I'm ready. I'll reveal myself invincible soon.
From the album The Worse Things Get, The Harder I Fight, The Harder I Fight, The More I Love You. Nico Case and the song Ragtime.
What dedication, eh? What love.
Yes.
Yeah, it will be like that. Sylvia, we've had another contribution.
A lot
our
of
guests.
contribution.
Can you hear me, by the way? Can you hear me? Can you
Si.
hear me?
I
Yeah.
can't.
Okay.
I
You
can
can?
hear you in the room.
Okay.
I
but-
can't hear you through my headphones.
Yeah, I just feel like testing, 1, 2, 3.
What's happened with your microphone? Speak?
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
I don't know. What's happened with your microphone? Sophie.
I didn't touch anything. It wasn't me, it was him.
Anyway, we're talking about pronunciation. If you can hear us, we're talking about pronunciation today. Write in with what are your problems with pronunciation in English. What are the difficulties in Italian in pronunciation as well? We've had some responses. We've had Paolo wrote into us.
Yes, Paolo told us that secondo, dico in italiano, secondo
Ok.
lui è difficile staccarsi da quella che è l'imprinting scolastico della lingua, di come ti insegnano la lingua inglese, che è completamente differente da quella parlata in UK, e dice oltre alla velocità, che è molto fondamentale, dobbiamo porre attenzione alla differente pronuncia dei diversi dialetti, e questo crea complicazione. Luca invece dice che è la H, sempre lo stesso problema, e Daria, the hardest word, stabilizers. È giusto?
Stabilizers.
Stabilizers. E ride.
Stabilizers, che sono quelle piccole ruote che si mettono quando impari a andare in bici. You've got those little, come si chiamano in italiano?
Oddio, le rotelle.
Yeah, it will be. Stabilizer,
Yeah.
probably because of the stress on,
Yeah.
on that. Yeah.
Stabilizers.
Also on Facebook, we've got Moose, who's in France. As far as French mispronunciation of English is concerned, I think the words beach, focus, and even happiness. Now, there's the problem with the H, because if you don't pronounce the happiness,
It
it
could
sounds
sound
like a penis.
That's right.
Yeah.
Facciamo autocensorimento. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, è vero, questo fatto dei
You can say
dialetti.
penis on the radio.
Yeah, I think you can. It's
It's
a
a
medical term.
typical term.
It's a medical term, and it is on our Facebook as well, actually, because it was an
You've
example.
got a penis on your Facebook
Oh,
page.
do stop it. No, there's an example. There's an example of mispronunciation. However, è vero, ci sono tante variazioni di accento quando vai in Inghilterra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just in England, let alone around
Yeah.
the world.
Actually, I was reading an article the other day that said, stavo leggendo un articolo l'altro giorno che diceva che i non native speakers, quelli che non sono madrelingua, preferiscono fare riunioni quando non ci sono presenti native speakers.
È vero?
Yes. Yeah. Perché l'inglese è parlato, the international global English spoken
Yeah.
between
Yeah.
Spanish, French, Greeks, Chinese, you name it, is much easier to communicate. Anche un'altra cosa che l'inglese tendono a utilizzare le espressioni idiomatici, i phrasal verbs, those kind of things, which
Yeah.
makes it more complicated
Exactly.
for non-native speakers to
Yeah.
follow the speech. So I think English people should do a course in how to speak English with foreigners, maybe.
Well, this is, I think it's particularly a challenge for teachers because you need to be bilingual in your own language. You need to understand that there is, and this is what we were talking about before, there is the English which you use with your mates, And there is the English that is used in an international context. Just because you use English in a certain way doesn't mean it's standard English, doesn't mean it will be understood by everybody.
Exactly.
And this is, I think, what teachers especially need to realize is that you kind of need to be bilingual in English. You need to know the English that you speak, where you come from, that you use with your friends, that you use at home, and the English which is used in the world that everybody can understand.
And these days, actually, it is easy to have exposure to all different kinds of accents because we've got YouTube, we've got internet, so you can actually have lots of listening practice with lots of different accents.
And, people are writing in saying it's difficult. Yes, it is difficult. It's difficult for native speakers as well.
Yeah.
The different accents are hard to understand.
Yeah,
if you're not used to them.
Yeah. Io stavo preparando un manager che è andato per fare un congresso a New York e stavamo facendo tanto pratica.
Completely different
with American,
accent.
yeah. Avevo notato una cosa che per me anche era nuova, che invece di dire mobile dicevano mobile. You're mobile.
Mobile.
You're mobile. Instead of your mobile phone.
Yeah.
Tipo di così.
Water.
Water. Well,
Water,
yeah, again,
water.
in America, you've got so many different variations.
I think
there's
that
the harder R, which they use.
Yeah, the East Coast and the West Coast. I mean, you've got New York and coffee, etc., etc.
I think that it's a different language. American is really different.
Same language, a different pronunciation.
But also,
different accents.
you can lift, elevator. There are a lot of different words also.
It's true.
Yeah.
There are lots of different variations of
Jumper, for example. For a sweater, it doesn't exist. Yeah, a jumper in America is someone who jumps off a building.
Yeah, and then you've got rubber as well, which can also cause some confusion.
Indeed.
Yes, for now. I have some problems with Italian pronunciation. Stiamo facendo la confessione.
Okay.
Io voglio uscire di qua con un senso di libertà e coscienza pulita. Sto per confessare. Are you ready?
What's that area? What's that area in Rome off Cristoforo Colombo? What do you call that area in Rome just off Cristoforo Colombo?
Well, once upon a time.
Yeah.
No, cose proprio semplice, veramente easy. I find sometimes it's difficult to pronounce the R in Italian. For example, when I say
rolling your R's is difficult
really
for a lot
hard.
of people. Unless you're Scottish, you're used to it.
That's like the rhotic R. My brother can roll his R's, but I can't, so it's obviously not a genetic thing. Anyway, I find, for example, when we're at school and we're organising things and I talk about the timetable, I always sound Chinese when I say it in Italian.
Lota.
I go, orario.
Olaglio is very Chinese.
I know. I always sound Chinese when I say it at school. They're saying orario.
Well,
orario.
Even after 12 years in Italy, I still can't master the double consonant. I can't
it's very
hear it
Yeah.
and I can't say it. So it's very embarrassing around New Year's Eve.
Yes.
Think
You have to
about
read
it.
between the lines there. Non dobbiamo leggere tra le righe.
Infatti.
Sean's difficulty.
Abbiamo altre notizie.
Jolly good. We're popular today.
Yeah. Abbiamo pochissimi secondi. Allora, c'è Patrizio che dice l'inglese in generale.
Ok. Don't despair, Patrizio. Don't despair.
No.
C'è sempre speranza.
Poi Stefania, say hello.
Oh, hello,
to Steffi. Su Sophie.
Hello, Stefania.
Hi, Stefania.
Stefania. E dice, qual è il plurale giusto anche nella pronuncia di autoscatto? Selfies?
Yes.
Yeah, selfies.
Yes.
Yeah, selfies is
Yeah.
the correct pronunciation.
Yeah. Selfies.
Yeah.
One selfie, two selfies, three
Two
selfies.
selfies. Okay.
Yeah, thanks for that question,
And-
Stefania.
And more questions, but after commercial time.
Okay.
Going into commercial, and we'll be back with more music from Nico Case and more talk about pronunciation.
Yeah, more gaffs.
Pubblicità.
Radio Stella Città.
Rimanete con noi. Stay with us.
Restez avec nous.
Radio Stella Città.
Centro Stampa Romano, le migliori tecnologie di stampa per quotidiani e periodici, in rotativa, colori e bianco e nero, per qualsiasi tiratura, per tutti i progetti grafici, passo dopo passo, ideazione e realizzazione di qualsiasi tipo di prodotto editoriale. Centro Stampa Romano, siamo a Roma in via Alfana 39, perché l'editoria da noi è di casa.
Stella Città.
101,2
Sound of the music.
1, 2, 3.
No one told me about her, the way she lied. No one told me about her, and make people cry. Now it's too late to say you're sorry. I should have known, why should I care? There's a lot trying to find her, she's not there.
Let me tell you about the way she looked, the way she acted, the color of her hair. Her voice was soft and cool, her eyes were clear and bright. She's not there, she's not there.
No one told me about her, what could I do? No one told me about her, they don't do. But it's too late to say you're sorry. I should have known, why should I care? Please don't bother trying to find her, she's not there.
Let me tell you about the way she looked, the way she acted, the color of her hair. Her voice was soft and cool, her eyes were clear and bright. I wanna keep her silent, but she's not here.
But it's too late to say you're sorry. I should have known, why should I care? Please don't bother trying to find her, she's not there.
Well, let me tell you about the way she looked, the way she acted, the color of her hair. Yeah, her voice was soft and cool, her eyes were clear and bright. I'm gonna get with that, but she's not there.
You're listening to Small Talk. That was Nico Case with Nick Cave from the soundtrack to True Blood and a cover of the Santana song, She's Not There.
Good old classic. One of my favourites, that one. Anyway, we're here talking about gaffes in pronunciation, in Italian, in English, in whatever language you like, actually.
There was a very funny one. Alfonso Cuarón, who just won the Oscar for Best Director,
Right.
he was saying that when he was working on Gravity with Sandra Bullock, there was a bit of a confusion when he came up to her and said, "I'm going to give you herpes." And Sandra Bullock sort of looked at him and went, "What?" And what he was trying to say was, "I'm going to give you an earpiece."
Okay, which is the H again, isn't it? Yeah, it's that intrusive H.
That
everywhere.
intrusive H.
The invasion of the H's.
Yeah.
And I remember another one, actually, another clang is prostrate.
Prostate.
Prostate and prostrate as well.
Exactly. You don't want to mix those up.
Yeah, you've got a prostate.
Prescription.
Yes.
People make that mistake all the time.
Prescription.
Yeah, do you know what that is, Sylvia?
Prescription.
La prescrizione, no?
Prescription.
Medica.
Ricetta.
Ricetta medica,
Yeah.
prescrizione medica.
Yeah.
Well
But people
done.
say prescription
Prescription.
or proscription, which has a different meaning altogether.
Perché voi avete questo suono per che is very difficult for us. Also
Sorry? What word does that appear in?
Ci senti bene?
That just sounds
I
like,
think
I
you're
don't know.
choking.
it's-
Sylvia's
yeah.
choking.
sound.
Si sta strozzando. Chiama un'ambulanza. Call an ambulance.
But native speakers make loads of mistakes with English words. Nuclear.
Yeah, and I saw another something written the other day how somebody had spoken it instead of must have been.
Must have been. Yeah.
Must have been.
You
So-
see it a lot.
Yeah.
Because people are writing it as it sounds.
Yes, allora
Yeah.
inizia questo must have been doveva essere
Sì.
sarebbe must have been che diventa tutto scacciato
Yeah.
must have been.
Well, this
E
is
poi
why,
loro
going back to
pensano che sia
Paolo's
must have.
point,
Yeah.
you know, we need to teach English as it's spoken.
Sì, infatti è inutile che i poveri studenti si abituano a un inglese perfetto scolastico, poi vanno lì e non si capisce niente, come dicono. Almeno avere un po' di exposure to the real language, authentic language.
Yeah.
Now,
Just to survive.
even famous people make these big. Natasha Bedingfield sings a song that's called These Words, and instead of hyperbole, she was singing hyperbole.
Oh dear.
Hyperbole.
Didn't anybody
Yeah.
tell her?
Well, it's one of those words that you hear it pronounced so in the wrong way so many times that it becomes, common usage.
Common. Another place where the students have a lot of difficulty are on place names in Great Britain.
Yeah.
Students, when they're going over to visit England and they say where they're going, say, well, first of all, you have to learn how to pronounce it properly. Classic is Edimburgo. How do you pronounce Edimburgo?
Edinburgh.
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 Sì.
Edinburgh.
Sì, e c'è grande resistenza con il studente. No, è impossibile, non si dice così.
Edinburgh.
But it's not just from non-native speakers. The number of Americans that I met in London wanting to know where Leicester Square was.
Right, which is Leicester Square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also asked,
Leicester Square.
Yeah.
Com'è?
where is Leicester Square?
The Italian way. Leicester Square.
They also asked where they could buy tickets for the Oxford Circus. So I think they were...
That's so sweet.
Yeah, bless them.
Yeah.
I said, buy them here. They're £30 each.
Here you are, a whole batch of them. That's right. And another place in London is Greenwich. Okay.
Greenwich.
Greenwich.
No, Greenwich.
No. No. Infatti quando lo leggi sembra Greenwich, ma è diventato anche quello scacciato.
Greenwich.
Greenwich. Yeah.
Greenwich.
Gloucester Road.
Dr. Foster went to Gloucester.
In a shower of rain.
He stood in a puddle.
Right up to his middle.
And never went back again.
Exactly. That's how you remember it.
Ta-da!
A moment.
Went over his head. Allora.
Gloucester.
È il nome della città che rima con Dr. Foster. Rime per bambini.
Però shanto da before Gloucester Road.
Gloucester Road, yeah, in London.
Gloucester Road.
It's a tube station.
E Leicester come si pronuncia Leicester?
Tube or tube?
Tube.
Now this is a case of affrication. Okay, and this is a case where mispronunciation becomes standard use, and this has happened within a generation. Now, your grandmother would have said, put a Y before tune.
Oh, my mother probably would do that too. Yeah.
Whereas people say now tune and duke. It
Like-
becomes a ch sound.
Like Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People of our grandparents' generation would have said Tuesday with a y in it.
Yes.
Whereas everybody now says Tuesday.
Which is easier. Yeah.
Tuesday.
Is
Also, talk. È difficile da pronunciare.
Go on, Sylvia. Keep going. Continue like that.
I thought she was coughing.
No, she's barking. Sta baiando.
Do.
Though. You got to put your tongue between your teeth and stick your tongue out. No, put your tongue between your teeth.
Ok.
Yeah.
Okay.
Though.
C'è un po' di tortura qui nello studio.
Do it at home in front of the mirror. Though.
Torture.
Aiuto.
She just spat all over me.
Torture. C'è tortura qui. Io sono testimone. Povera Silvia l'ha legato alla sedia e lei sta torturando.
Exactly. I'm slapping her. No, again. Boo. Again. Boo.
C'è un altro, scusami, parlando di generazione, c'è also garage and garage. My mother always likes to speak properly. So it was garage. And when I grew up in Yorkshire, we said garage.
Yeah.
I was the generation.
But this is the thing. Pronunciation can change over a generation.
Yeah.
And what is a mistake today could be common use tomorrow. How do you get annoyed when people say axed instead of ask?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm afraid so.
But we used to say wops instead of wasp. And we used to say brid instead of bird.
Yeah. One has to be open-minded.
This is another case, and there's a name for this as well. There's a special name for it.
While he's looking for that, I will also talk about Bristol, the city near where I live. Bristol used to be...
Metathesis.
Okay.
Metathesis. Where you swap the letters round.
Yes. Yeah, this is not an example of that, but Bristol, which is the biggest city near where I live in England, used to be called Bristow, e siccome in quella regione c'era la tendenza di mettere un L alla fine di tutte le parole, Bristol. Il nome della città alla fine cambiava, it changed, so it's now Bristol with an L on the end.
Beh, qual è il nome giusto? Bristol.
Yeah, but there was once upon a time, it was called Bristow.
Once upon a time vuol dire c'era una volta.
Yeah, there was a town. Here's another one for you. Worcester sauce. Plymouth.
Yeah.
Portsmouth.
Mm-hmm.
Brighton.
Yeah.
Torquay. Nottingham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brighton. Nottingham. Yeah.
It's
What else?
Have we got any more, any other names? Actually, a lot of the time, Edinburgh, for example, we were talking about before, because originally it came probably from the German, Edimburgo, Burgo, even in Italian as well.
Yeah.
And over the generations, it's just become easier and easier to say, and the spelling changes as well.
Why you cut everything?
It's just easy.
It's easy.
But it's the same in Italian. Andiamo a mangiare. Andiamo a ballare.
This is dialect. It's slang.
Well, also,
Slang.
think of stasera. The word stasera was originally questa sera.
That's right, and I used to make a mistake.
Ha ragione Sean, 1-0 palla al centro.
I used to say sto pomeriggio. Sto pomeriggio.
No.
I know it's wrong, but I used to say it because I did a generalization. I learnt in Italian stamattina, stasera, and I thought automaticamente anche sto pomeriggio.
Terribile.
Terrible.
Terrible.
Yeah, nobody corrected me for about 15 years.
Ma perché sei straniera, è normale.
Infatti, anche quello. Comunque anche questo allora è accettato. Allora quando i studenti si preoccupano così tanto dall'accento, dalla pronuncia, alla fine non è così grave se hai un accento, se fai qualche errore. Alla fine l'importante è comunicare.
Sì.
Poi ovviamente dipende sempre a che livello vuoi parlare, ma se vai lì per un viaggio deve sopravvivere. Alla fine uno non deve vergognarsi.
No.
Sono il primo esempio, non si deve vergognare dall'accento.
Assolutamente no, verissimo.
Because native speakers, they make lots of mistakes too.
Yes.
And what are today's mistakes could be tomorrow's common
Standard
usage.
language.
Standard usage,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
Shall we end with a song?
No. We have just 2 minutes. 2 minutes more.
For a song? Oh.
No.
Well, maybe we can have some more examples then.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
Yeah. Evidently, talking about foreign names, actually, there was a BBC pronunciation unit.
Yeah.
And they have to help the readers on the BBC when they have to pronounce foreign names.
Yeah.
So when you've got a football match, for example, it's like, how do you pronounce all the football players' names? And if something happens at an international level, how do you pronounce the Chinese names? How do you pronounce the Russian names? So there is actually a BBC pronunciation unit that helps them to do that.
John Travolta could have used that at the Oscars.
What did he mispronounce?
Oh, the singer Indina Menzel, who sang the song from Frozen, which won the Oscar, and he called her Dazim something.
Really?
Something completely torturous.
I am actually the BBC pronunciation unit, the regional section in Civitavecchia. I often get calls from people asking me, how do you pronounce this? Some friends from in Rome, how do you pronounce this name? How do you pronounce that name? There you go.
Like, and you say Leicester.
That's right. Evidently, Sean, New Zealand place names are really difficult to pronounce as well.
Yeah, and there's a lot of Maori place names, and also there, for example, WH in Maori is pronounced F. So you find, for example, where my parents live is called Whangarei. But for many, many years, people pronounced it as Whangarei with a W.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now?
Generally, it's seen that the Maori pronunciation is the proper pronunciation, so it's Whangarei.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So, actually, just maybe to finish...
Whitianga as well.
Yeah.
Instead of Whitianga. For years, my parents went to Whitianga on holiday, but now they go to Whitianga.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's quite good. Then you change your holiday destination with a letter.
Yeah. Spelling's the same, though, WH.
Here's one, just a quick one for the listeners.
Yeah.
Fruit. Free end.
Fruit.
Fruit. Free end.
Free
These
end.
are the classic gaffes for students, yeah. Fruit.
Fruit.
Perché c'è fruit, no? Perché c'è I nel mezzo.
Fruit.
Sì, gli studenti spesso leggono come scritto.
Yeah.
It comes from French, doesn't it? Le fruit.
Did you know that female comes from French as well?
Oh, go on.
Boom, 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 boom.
Dun,
Where
dun.
is it? The French femelle, femelle, meaning woman. It's not changed, putting a prefix on male.
Oh God, I've got a funny story about this. Somebody.
You went in the wrong toilets, didn't you?
In 1 minute, in 1 minute, in 1 minute.
Lo dico in italiano, mi ha detto qualcuno che aveva gli amici, non mi ricordo, erano stranieri che sono stati in Inghilterra, hanno battezzato la loro bambina femmale. Ha detto, ma che nome particolare? Perché? Ha detto, perché hanno messo intorno al braccialetto quando stava in ospedale e mi è piaciuto. Allora lei ha battezzato la sua figlia female.
Yeah.
Perché avevo visto intorno.
Yeah.
Allora lei ha interpretato, non sapeva che significava female, femmina.
Femina. She thought it was a name.
Come ti
It was
chiami
a
tu?
name, allora l'ha
Bless.
battezzato. Femmale.
Bless
Femmale
her.
la chiamava. Femmale.
Poverino,
Perché
poverino.
dovevano mettere una braccioletta per dire se era femmina o maschio? È strano quando si pensa di questo.
Perché quando sono piccoli magari non li riconosci dai vestiti.
Yeah, if they're all like sitting in the...
Stanno tutti
incubators.
nella...
È preoccupante che nell'ospedale inglese non sanno se il bambino è
È maschio o femmina.
Anyway,
That's why you need the bracelet.
there you go.
Thank you for joining us again on Small Talk. Please follow up on our Facebook page. You'll find links to articles about pronunciation, some great videos of Nico Case, including there's one of calling cards which has some great shots of Rome in the 60s when you could still drive around the Colosseum.
Oh, like
So
Rome on holiday.
check out our Facebook page and join us again next Friday at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Cheerio and have a lovely weekend.
Ta-ra!